Hey everyone, it's Dawn. Just a brief follow-up to the two videos I shared last week. I think it was last week. Yeah, I don't know. It's Saturday, October 10th. Yes, so as a part of that acceleration, that rapid acceleration that I talked about earlier, I just wanted to circle back and share this one piece because this feels very, it's full of some really potent energy for me, and I don't think I mentioned it. I certainly didn't go into detail about it if I did mention it, and I'm not going to go into vast detail here, but it's 1:17 p.m. on October the 10th, 2020. And it's interesting because this morning I was just like suddenly drawn to clean out this one closet in the person's home where I'm staying. I have some of my stuff in that closet. I have some of my stuff in storage. Anyway, it's just been in disarray for these 18 months. And so I pulled out my really old stacks of art, and I was trying to kind of weed through it and let go of some of that. And one of the things I came across was something that I wrote on October 10th, 2010. And I didn't actually remember that was the timing of this, but I remember very distinctly what was happening at that time. And I remember I was given this thing to share, which I did not share, sadly. I did create it, but I was given this thing to share, and this was before. It was really not until 11/11 on 2011 when I was like fully committed to moving forward. I was sort of like between about 2000, really back to 9/11, 2001, all the way from then, all the way up until 2011, that 10-year period. I knew I would be moving forward and speaking to all these things that I kind of held within my soul, heart and soul, but I hadn't fully committed to it. And so on October 10th, 2010, and then all the way through about February of that next year, February of 2011, it was so intense for me, and it was like I was fighting hard in a way not to share, and yet I would create these things. So I was, at the time, I was doing a little freelance project for the Girl Scouts of America, which didn't work out, no surprise, but and I as I was working on that, I was creating like an annual report cover and doing various things, and I kept like these things that I was being called to share, I kept like trying to like fudge it a bit, like, okay, I'll just put this butterfly transformation idea into this project, you know, and no surprise, right? Like, it's because I wasn't fully committed to the path that life itself was calling me to be on, and so it didn't quite materialize or work. I think we did finish the project, but we didn't go with what I was proposing, and so I took what I had proposed, this idea of this butterfly coming to life, and I created like I had created like the cover for this annual report, and it was a horizontal spread, and I with a butterfly and the stages of the butterfly, but it was really beautiful. And so I took what I created for them and I replaced all the text where it said like the name, and I put other words, you know, and I put time for transformation. And on this layout, I accidentally, where it was supposed to say 2010, put 2020. So here we are, 10/10/2020, and wowza, yeah, my life is so different, and yet my heart and my soul are the same. And I was also reflecting on these last 2 years, two and a half years really, and my own personal journey. I haven't spoken a lot about this, I'm not going to go into detail here, but life led me to a series of very impactful encounters, particularly strong around the summer of 2018, at which point I had quite enough of this. I had quite enough of this long and winding road that, in terms of the sacred partnership path, I was still committed to what I knew I was committed to, but I had had quite enough. And so that was the backstory, and life led me to these various things that occurred that were actually such a gift, and I hope so too, those individuals who were involved. And there was a point at which it was so miraculous, like what occurred, which I will speak to at a later date, I hope, in writing or through a soul share here or elsewhere. But it was so miraculous, like mind-blowingly miraculous to me, that it opened a lot. It opened a lot in my heart and my soul. And it looked like, because particularly in one case, it looked like it was the presentation of a reality, a deeper truth and beauty, and something pure. And I want to call it holy at its soul level. That it was like a higher representation, a purer, something that could sustain the love, the energy. Not talking about a relationship here for me, but I think it manifested in that way for many people. And it felt like, and was, such a gift, and is such a gift. And like I said, in the particular case of, in one particular facet of how this happened in multiple ways for me, with a couple of people, individuals, and then other situations or opportunities. And all of this looked like one thing, one way, and there's an aspect of which it was that. It is that glimpse. But the way that initially I was, kind of experiencing that was as if finally I could break free of that, like, restriction that I always felt on this path, mainly because I'm walking it alone, or it appears that I'm walking it alone, even if I am fully aware that there is full cooperation on the, what some would call the 5D level, or in the etheric planes. Fully aware of that in terms of with the individual that is my divine complement. And I know I'm talking slowly. I just want to kind of let this come like it does. So, as this 2 years has gone by, there have been many different things that are just like, didn't deserve that. And it was like almost like a reminder of times that had happened previously with my divine complement. And it can lead to a place where you begin to question everything. And so been clear, for me, I'm actually really grateful that it kind of happened the way it did, because there was it wasn't a vibrational match for this time here in this place and time, as miraculous as it was. So miraculous, you guys. So miraculous. And I do hope to speak to that someday, and I hope that there is some level of awareness in terms of the other people and situations and opportunities and places involved, because it was like happening for me on like 3 or 4 planes at one time. There was one that was beyond all others, and still is, and still deeply connected for me in my heart and soul. And so at the same time, though, what I'm saying is I could see how, like, beginning about last fall, I would say about a year ago. Yeah, about a year ago. Beginning then until now, I could see how, I see the purpose, the larger purpose was for me to be able to connect to this aspect of an eternal story that I needed to feel. I needed to feel it. And I did, trust me. I needed to feel it at such a deep level that I would be able to articulate it in terms of whatever way I chose to share it. And so far, that's only been through paintings and a few little, I think I'm alluded to it in a few videos. And I do anticipate I'll circle back to that at some point in some fashion. But I was aware beginning about a year ago of these multiple levels of this and how it was purposeful, sort of kind of what I was describing in that video, connecting to these various points so we could have that full circle experience. And it was for the elevation of all. And I began to understand that, okay, so whatever's happening here in this personal thing with me, because it took some really weird turns, and ones that were painful and also ones that were just kind of sad to me. In terms of my human self, like, oh no, like, no, not him too, or not her too, or not that thing too, or not that place too, or not that circumstance too. You see what I'm saying? Like, it taps the deeper pain. And I was aware of that beginning about last November. And then in last January it became clear, like, okay, I have to, in 2 or 3 of these various, it's not just one thing, in 2 or 3 of these various circumstances, I have to do what is needed and what is required. As hard as it is, I have to do it for the, to remain true. And I didn't see, though, I felt the full circle nature of it, but I didn't see how it's just a big giant in a couple of these circumstances. It was a big giant reminder of what is inescapable, of what cannot be denied. I'm not just talking about a particular person, but I'm talking about the larger, most expansive, radiant, true reality there is. And this is the point that we are at 129 here, and on October 10th, 2020. This is it. The truth will have its way. The truth will rise. I don't know in my own journey what that is, and there's so much still I want to say. And sometimes I feel as if I don't say it, it might be lost too late. But I know that all's held in divine perfection. And so I know I'm not getting to the point as you probably wish I was. But I just wanted to say that I wanted to share it from my heart and soul, just to say that nothing is lost. If it looks like a huge detour or disappointment or disillusionment, I have a feeling the story's not over. And I also know that there's something really beautiful emerging from all of that for each one of us, regardless of what it is. You know, I alluded to the fact, or I've mentioned specifically, I guess, in my last video, the ridiculous nature of and the ways that I feel like a complete and utter failure in terms of whatever this has been about for 20 years for me, of not having any stability or any support, flying blind, through this life, and not feeling any connection to, you, my beloved community, my brothers and sisters, to the one with whom I have an eternal bond, to these friends that are a miracle to me, to support and sustenance, to family and people who like to call me friend, but not necessarily be that or be, I truly feel that part of this takeoff point into this last turn, and obviously things are still falling apart collectively and or being revealed for what they are, and that I think we have a few more iterations to go here in terms of that, but what I want to say here is that it's an expansion, it's an elevation, and this is true on the emotional level of our experience in this life. And that's the beauty of the journey, and that's the joy of the journey, and that's the challenge of the journey for sure. So, yeah. I have so many things I want to say, and I just don't feel like the time is right just yet, but I just wanted to just pop on here and just share from my heart. So for what it's worth, there it is. That's just to say that these last 2 years, since it started, I think, in February or March of 2018, and really hit its peak with some things that summer, and along those lines, I'm going to end on a more positive that came out of all that, for me. So I've just I was led back to something I wrote in when I was in England, on the Dorset coast. There were 12 days that were very impactful in July of 2018, and I was very aware I was doing service work for the earth, spiritual service, and I wrote. I did some practices there, and I wrote some things related to these 12 days, and 12 doors of abundance that were opened, and I just paired them with photos, as I often do, and that's available on my website, from the books page, and on Amazon. I just put it up as a little Kindle book. It's not that fancy, it's very short, but very meaningful. And sometimes these little seeds for life, with these shortest little soul activations and photos or whatever, what I find, and what people tell me again and again, is when they go back to those is like a paragraph or something, but many of my books are written that way. A Reconciliation of Light, the Soul of Ireland book, and the Birds of a Feather Journey, which includes the book, and the book is available on Amazon too. Those are good examples of those kinds of books where it's very short and succinct messages given to me by Spirit, paired with usually images, just ordinary photos, nothing spectacular. I call myself a photographer, but I am not a refined, it's not my expertise. I just like to take images and I pair them with these things, and they're messages from Spirit. They're seeds for life, to support us as we come to life and live in full expression. And so I did make that available, that 12 doors of abundance, and it's, forgot the name, the subtitle, but it was very much the Avalon energy that was with me during that time. And there's something, actually, I think I'll put as the, I don't know why, but I feel led to put as the cover, I don't know if I can do that, actually, it's somebody else's photo. When I was in England that summer, the 22nd of July was really, really meaningful to me, and actually ties very much to what I'm talking about, because, I did this thing, I was like, done with the past, and so I did that, and I made, I don't want to say I'm sorry for it, because it was part of the process for me, but I was a little overly definitive and overly public about my sharing, and I was like this goofy horse with the initials of my divine compliment was like following me around, and all these people in England were like, oh my God, why is that horse following you? And he's like so stubborn, and why does he like you? I was like, oh my gosh. And so I was just reacting to that in my own little way. Wow, my screen just blacked out and came back. Um, yeah, that was cool. But in any case, that happened on, I had this amazing day on the 22nd, and then I rode back through Wiltshire and what's that other county I forgot in England, and the next morning I stopped by these fields, and the next morning there was like a crop circle. It was so amazing. It was an open door, and right, I've been talking about these 12 doors of abundance. I'm not saying I had anything to do with the crop circle. Obviously, I don't create crop circles on my own, but there was this amazing crop circle right in the field near where I was. The next day they discovered it, and it was a door. And I believe it was on the 23rd they discovered it. And it was just a confirmation to me, from me, my interpretation, for whatever it was worth, was that that Jesus, the Christ, was here for us all, with us all, and in particular with this, all of the deep awarenesses I was having and the connections back to whatever, the soul memories, and to also my own journey here. That crazy horse wouldn't leave me alone on the 22nd, and I was like, no, not today. But I was in the New Forest that day. I'd driven a ways, and I was in the New Forest, and then I went back to the Dorset coast to finish this process of these 12 days. And it was a beautiful time, and I see how it was all an opening, for me. And like I said, I hope all of these various circumstances and individuals that where there was this intersection, this connection, and the horse energy is very much back for me in this month of October 2020, which ties into the vision of the three horses. Talk about that in the Passage to a New Society. It's on my website. There's a free, you can access the video series and the free download there if you want to know more about that. But it's all tying together. I just don't know where it's leading. Who knows? I don't know. So, and the other thing is, like, this morning, I gotta say, like, I can feel, so yeah, intensity for sure, but I can also feel just the amazing, like, oh my gosh, I told the person who knows me very well, who I'm staying at his house, and I was like, oh my gosh, since I was 4, I've been waiting for this. Yay! Like, this is my, like, human self, like, not yay destruction, but like, yay, oh my gosh, finally, I feel it. So I have no idea where anything is leading for me personally at all. And like, some days I think I better hurry up and say what I got to say, because I only have a little bit of time left. And then other days I'm like, oh no, you got forever left, and it's gonna come to fruition. I don't know how, I don't know who, I don't know when, I don't know where. It's not really about any of that anyway. It's not about who, what, when, where, why. We are amazing eternal beings, and we are immersed in endless pools of soul. And this is the hope that I was touching on, that I said we are ramping up into. And I don't know, I've, at times before when this has happened, then we get into it and I'm like, I don't feel it. I don't feel what I said but I'm just so sure. I'm so sure that there is gift for every single one of us. What that gift might be, it's always being revealed, and how that might look. And the particulars can't be attached to that. And I'm going to stop there. It's 1:41 on October 10th, 2020. And I love you. I have my own version of how I hope this all goes. I hope that we all see one another. And I hope that our hearts are connected. I know they are anyway. I want to bring it down for a landing. Darn it. Or I want to fly away, Anyway, all is well. I love you. Hi, here it's Dawn. For a little PS to the earlier video, just have had another layer of realization around those 2 years of projected. It's like the promise of what you always wanted projected before you, but at the same time, so it was actually an easier kind of good feeling sort of connection, what you always imagined it would be for the real deal connection. And it was like a little taste, and in terms of these various situations for me, not just one. There was one big one for me, that was, sort of like spirits, like almost like proving it, like, oh, you want this? Okay, here you go. And it's like bigger than you had imagined, right? Except that the lesson, the real opportunity, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, was to see that actually that the block that, okay, this was presented to me through the mirror, but the block that had been there all along was actually my own belief that it couldn't be, because I down deep was not yet ready. I can't believe that was the case, but seriously. And so what was mirrored back was like, here's this thing on a silver platter that looked like, just like way more than had ever felt possible. And yet it ultimately was presented so that there could be a realization that it was that this higher level and deeper level of experience and harmonization between the two was always there, was always possible, just as I am, you are, we were, we are, we will be. And yeah, so still unfolding. Who knows? Like I said, who knows where it's all going, where we've really been. It's always a discovery and a joy. And just a couple of other amazing moments today have, for example, with someone I had met previously that I don't know well, just let's call it an acquaintance type person, and then a family member. And in both cases, there was this very interesting moment with these two individuals that was as if everything from all my various experiences of those two very different individuals, this acquaintance person who I've just run across through the years, he works at a place that I go to, and there's no relationship there or anything. It's just I speak to him when I see him, and he speaks to me. And then there's a family member, and in both cases it was as if there was a gathering in of all those points of experiences in those two connections, between me and the other individual. I don't know that the other individual was aware of it in either case, but I could feel and receive the energetic signature of what was happening and occurring, and it was that same gathering in. So I'm sharing this. You may be wondering, why is she talking about her own life? And I know it bugs some people. Sorry. I personally find value in it for me, and when I receive from that when other people are doing the same, and so I personally do value it. But beyond that, the reason is that I'm trying to illustrate this thing that I was trying to express, that when they wanted me to talk about that scientific stuff, and the rapid takeoff and the acceleration, and that everything that had felt like where we were all stuck and stagnant, or we felt like, oh, okay, here's the big switcheroo, and here's what it's meant to be, and so we felt as we were receiving. It's like all of those were points of experience, and all of that was the acceleration or the gathering of momentum through the points of experience of oneself and the other, and then the world, the cosmos at large. And it was all like that. It's all driving to that center point so that we can from there expand. So where will this all lead in terms of, the path of sacred partnership, in terms of the larger awakening process that our world is in and that each of us as individuals are in, and in terms of just the more cosmic galactic story that is very much undergoing 555, some amazing shifts on that level too. And I feel, let's just say, our star family is super close and it's beautiful. And I also had a realization around, for myself, I wanted to share in terms of the enoughness of the simplicity of the soul's journey. And while I've always been clear about that in my own experience, on that, from that higher perspective, I completely get lost as Dawn, the person, the human personality moving through this reality, because I felt like such an utter failure on every possible level, and have been told that by people, and have been judged as that, certainly, by various people. And so I've known that isn't true, and that who I am is enough, and that the love that I have for people who have maybe not only not loved me back, but done some pretty bad things, and not speaking about any one individual there at all, and no judgment in terms of long-standing, I'm not in that game anymore, that war. The war's over, the war's been over, but at the same time, there's just a real realization that, kind of a Dorothy, you've had it all along kind of moment, a realization that who I am, who you are, who we all are at our core has always been more than enough. And all of this, the journey has been purposeful, absolutely, but at the same time, this feeling or experience of the journey as arduous and impossible, and that we had to get better and do more healing. And this is not a new realization. This has been with me for 3 years now, and I'm sure many of you as well, and yet it's a deeper awareness of that is very meaningful and very beautiful. And so in my own experience, I can look at various points in various types of relationships of all kinds, and even with my relationship with the land, or with a particular opportunity opportunity or set of circumstances in all different realms, or domains of life, so whether we're talking about work and career, or relationships with individuals or groups within society, I can see where at points where because it wasn't, quote, working, there was an effort put forth, from me personally on my journey, but also within these various circumstances where people are interacting together, or there are groups that are connected, and there can be this sort of resistance that comes up, because you're like, well, it should be like poof, magic, it should be working by now, whatever it might be. And so what I'm trying to say is that all of that, the coming back to the deep honoring of the simplicity of who we are at the soul level is such a gift. And it's time for each one of us to receive that gift, every single person. And the more I think that we can embody that and reflect that back to one another, and in terms of the I am, well, that's just that. The I am. So, okay, I'll stop. I know I'm rambling a lot. I just feel like I have so much to share, and I want to be who I am, you know. It's perfect. It's beautiful. Always has been. And it's complete in and of itself. It's complete, and I hope that you're feeling something of that as well. And you know, if this passes and then there's not this, that'll be okay, because you can hold on to every point of the experience, and you can choose where you want to reside on that spectrum in any given moment, and you can bring as many points as you want into the fullness of your experience. And that is pretty magical, isn't it? It's pretty amazing. Yeah. It's still October 10th. It's around 6:44 p.m. It was supposed to be 6:33, so I'm a little bit late. I got caught in the rain, as you can probably see. So I let's see. After I made those earlier videos, it was very focused in. I did some things with family, and then I was asked to do a specific energetic process unexpectedly, to stop by a lake and do some grounding in of energies that have to do with whatever is unfolding here, that seems to me more and more to be this sort of like a convergence within a convergence, if that makes any sense. So there's multiple levels of things that are like aligning or locking into place right now, and there's some connection between the 12 diamond dimensions, so the next 7-year passage, and those 12 diamond dimensions symbols, and the 12 doors of abundance that I mentioned that book earlier that I had just made available. And I was thinking, after I did that video, I was like, why did I mention that? Because I wouldn't normally share that on these videos. I would, like put it on my website, and then, the small circle of people that I'm connected with, they would know. And that would be that, be on the book page, and you could go find it if you want it. But I was like, why did I mention that? It was like 2 years ago, and it was, somewhat connected to what I was talking about, but not specifically. And I remember at the time, after I did that video, I was like, oh, I don't have time to edit it, so it's just going to be on there. And I thought it was odd. And then when I was doing this energetic process by the lake, it was, they were showing me the connection, so that actually those of us called to this path are like the forerunners in a sense, and masculine, feminine on our own, and also those who have been working together, and with and the energetic component of that within each individual have been walking through these doorways, knowingly or unknowingly, and anchoring in the potential for this harnessing of the energy and the radiant expansion I was talking about in my previous videos last week. I hope that's making some sense. Just a little bit, as you can probably tell, the energies on my end anyway are a little bit so potent, I would say, that it's I don't even have words. Like, it's I hope that's translating. Okay, so what they asked me to do after the energetic process was to come and record this entire the 12 doorways, passages. There's 12 pages. They're very simple soul activations. So I'm going to do that, not in the best location. And again, I got caught in the rain, so my hair is just like way all over the place. So here we go. Introduction. This is when I was in England in 2018. I think it says that. So let me just read from here on. Deep in the heart of Avalon, by waters deep and wide, we open our hearts to the revelation of a mystery. We pass through the 12 doors, now open to the whole of humanity. This is a passage leading us into life and the life more abundant. Through the proverbial eye of a needle and into a realm of eternal blessing and reward, we pass through these waters. And then this is me saying that on that July day, I sat on the Dorset coast on the rocks above the Durdle Door, listening to the sea. An offering of the ones that rose up from the earth that day was entrusted to me to share with you. They laid out their hearts, full with their love of this life and for all who partake of it. These are the stories they shared with me. The soul of England echoed with an ancient love this land had not forgotten. For a time my heart was at peace and ever opening. These are the stories of a coming passage for the whole of humanity. The 12 doors opened on these 12 days, 7/18/18 through 7/29/18. These were days of significance. They were the issue of an invitation for all the years to follow, and for this, the turning of the age. The trumpet sounded. The door was opened. The question remains, would we make this journey of a soul? Would we dare to receive the bounty of the blessing? I will meet you on the way. Dawn. Number 1, the door of the gentle dragon. Fortune favors the bold. Pass through the first of 12 doors and into an ancient understanding. Draw from the deep well of all you may now remember. Wade in the waters. Go out a little further. Allow the ripples of who you are to move in an ever-widening circle of love. Celebrate this dawning of a new day. Number 2, the door of the agile armadillo. Choose wisely. Pass through this, the second door, and into the assurance that you can trust yourself to know the truth of who is trustworthy and who is not. Open your heart and show up to honor its palpable purpose here and now. Neither close it down nor allow any other to siphon the sweetness of its essential gift of who you are. Number 3, the door of the abundant equine. Drink freely. Pass through the third door and drink from the abundant ocean of experience. Live fully and with confidence. Know that what is needed will be provided. You are worthy to receive life and life to the full. Approach the moment boldly with gracious appreciation for the love and wonder of this life. Number 4, the door of the swift-moving great white shark. Seize the day. Pass through the fourth door and approach your life with all its present circumstance and challenge, and with far more opportunity than you may see, with boldness. Move in the direction of your dreams. Act decisively, undaunted by the shifting currents or would-be predators. Number 5, the door of the careful camel. Nourish your life. Pass through this, the fifth door. Bring your attention to the love and conservation of all that matters most. Full of care for the journey and honor for the service he offers. The camel knows the true source of all made possible by his service lies in his attentiveness to the life that moves within him. He gladly offers it, but knows when it is time to slow down and rest. Number 6, the door of the playful otter. Open to adventure. Pass through this, the sixth door, and see what is waiting for you around the next turn. Greet it with a youthful spirit of ease. Get a fresh perspective on your life and all the gifts waiting for you. Open up and enjoy. Number 7, the door of the serendipitous sea turtle. Live long and prosper. Pass through the 7th door. Receive the blessing of a long life filled with wonder and surprise. Be patient with yourself. Move forward at a pace that feels right for the day. Let the currents lead you. Believe in progress, not perfection, knowing you are safe and loved, meant to live a life of serendipity. Number 8, the door of the intelligent wolf. Trust your instincts. Pass through the 8th door and connect to your keen awareness of your environment and those who move within it. Howl at the moon if you must. Do only and always what is necessary to honor the free spirit within you. Live with passion and authenticity. Number 9, the door of the shapeshifter hair. Begin again. Pass through the 9th door. Greet the recreation of the new day with innocence and connection to your creative power. Welcome all the new and growing things. Celebrate all that is eternal, all that is pure and innocent. When the time is right, retreat into home and hope and harmony. Number 10, the door of the strong and courageous polar bear. Stand tall in the face of all that would hold you back. Pass through the 10th door. Know your strength. Be fierce and fearless in the face of whatever you are presented with in the day. Present to your life, rise above your fear to find your inner protector who rises to any challenge. Be met with the help you require and rise above by meeting the day face to face with full respect for the other and equally for yourself. 11. The door of the winding road angel that always leads you home. Walk in the way of life. Pass through this, the 11th door, and know who you are is all you need. Whether coming or going, know you are always on the way to where you have always belonged. Moving ever into the sloping soft hills that will hold you here and take you to the heights of a mountain top or the shores of the sea. Find yourself as you move in harmony with the earth and all the gifts she offers. And finally, number 12, the door of the awakening avatar. See the one who walks beside. Pass through the 12th door. Enter into a new era, rich in love, belonging to all that is and all that ever hopes to be. One with the land and with the legends. Notice the one you had not noticed in your rush to reach for distant lands or carve out a place for yourself in the world. See the truth of who you are. Enter into the mists of Avalon. Receive now the gift of all that is coming clear. So those were the 12 doors. They are 12 invitations to your heart's knowing. And this, in many ways, is the rise or the return of Avalon, if you will. And the 12 doors were, actually, I'm not going to share the 12 doors. I'm going to share the 12 statements that opened the soul activations on the 12 doors. And those were: fortune favors the bold, choose wisely, drink freely, seize the day, nourish your life, open to adventure, live long and prosper, trust your instincts, begin again, stand tall in the face of all that would hold you back, and walk in the way of life. So that was 12 Doors of Abundance, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that there was something there for you. I mentioned earlier the crop circle that appeared in Wiltshire, I believe it was, along the A354, where I went after that experience that day in the New Forest. I'd driven across to the New Forest for someone to a special day for the 22nd, and it was a special day, but it was also a little bit challenging in its own way, because it was I think I've said this earlier, but like the horse that wouldn't leave me alone, and he followed me the car, and everybody was taking pictures because this horse, like, had a huge brand on it, and it was like angry and kicking and stuff, and it was like following me to my car in the parking lot, like across the sandy beach and into onto the gravel, and he wouldn't stop following me, and all the people were like, oh my gosh, oh, I've been here before, that horse never follows anybody, why is he following you? And I was like, oh my gosh, no. No. I just like had a little moment of a break with reality, like, enough, no. And so I think that this huge little circle, I guess, brought me back, So whatever happens from here, whatever, however, whomever, whenever, it's a given now that these 12 doors of abundance are open to us all. So much love today and always, and I will see you when I see you.